Hey guys, oh my God, we are on day one of the Love Your Body, Lose the Weight 7-day extravaganza. I am really excited to be with everybody. It has already been a crazy morning for me. I was in line at the grocery store. There was a line around the block letting senior citizens in first. It's definitely an unsettling time. And at the same time, it is not lost on me at all that I'm starting this extravaganza and had set the dates for this at a time. What is up, Leah girl? That I set this extravaganza at a time when this was going to happen. I had no idea that this would happen, but I fully believe and know in my heart that this is the way divine guidance works. We are given, I was given what's up, everybody. As you're joining, just say where you're from. Say why you joined the Love Your Body, Lose the Weight extravaganza. I'm just sharing right now that I know we're in a lot of uncertain times, and I know that it can be scary. So we're going to go in, we're going to do some grounding. We're going to get started on day one. I'm going to go through and start off. What's up, guys? I'm going to get, wait, there's angry and sad faces. I'm going to get started with, mixed in with hearts and smiles. I'm going to go through the rundown of what you can expect. What's up, everybody? It is so good to see. Oh my God, some of my favorite ladies. So as you're coming in, those that actually do know me, I'm laughing that I look like I have severe cleavage right now. And I don't. So I'm not sure what's happening, but I mean, we're going to go with it. Hi, Ingrid. Okay. So Ingrid, I'm not so techie either. Have we noticed? Somebody posted and was like, I haven't gotten the emails yet. And I was like, gotta tag my team because I'm definitely not the person. So I'll go through all of that, and please, guys, as I'm going through, ask me questions. I will stay focused on what I want to share, and I'm going to tell you guys what's going on. So first and foremost, what I wanted to say is I want to thank you so much for being here, and we had from around the world, we have almost 1,000 women that signed up. Which is really incredible given what's going on right now. So I'm so pleased. I also know that now with homeschooling and everything else that's going on, the replays, I do want you to know the replay will be in here. You will be emailed the replay each day. You don't need to worry about that. You can also watch this video as much as you want. This video will be live in here for the next about 10 days, and then it will be taken out of the group. So watch it as much as you need. Your homework and handouts, you have to be registered for the extravaganza in order to get the homework. So many were just like, oh no, I'm in the group. And I was like, no, I really need to be very clear here. You are not gonna get the replays. You are not gonna get the homework unless you actually put your name and email in, and you've been receiving emails from me. You've got a commitment form. You got an invitation into this group. Like, you've gotten many emails that are all personal from me, from my heart, for you, okay? So other things that I just wanted to share, I was saying it's really not lost on me at all that I set this up like months ago. I would say like 2 months ago, really got like, oh, this is something I want to do. This time frame, like, I can't believe that it's actually is coinciding so much with the coronavirus, because let's look at what we're doing here. Everything that we're doing here is to support you in really eradicating and removing self-sabotaging behaviors. Well, what better than to have something come up that's going to bring your stress, your anxiety, it's going to spread you thin. And here's the thing, lady loves. Yes, this is like state of emergency, hands down. And I'm not demeaning it by any way, but I will also say in life, there's always going to be something that takes us out from the commitments that we make to ourselves. There's always going to be something that's going to want to pull our attention away from making us a priority. And so now more than ever, you actually get to exercise this desire within yourself to be a priority, to set boundaries for your time for the things that you need, right? And I also know right now, many of you are being spread very thin. Anxiety is through the roof, stress, the things that are on your plate. There's a lot of what if scenarios, a lot of future tripping. So you'll also notice that elements in you already, if you're already prone to anxiety, if you're already prone to stress, if you're prone to mindless eating, if you're prone to stress eating, always being based in the future versus staying in the present and living into those things, then all of these things within you are going to be exasperated at this time. So I say, why not use this as an opportunity to see those elements within us that are illuminated now more than ever, that are going to be even more pronounced, because the bottom line is they're there anyway. If there are elements of you, if anxiety is something that you're heightened and experiencing right now, then chances are you have an anxious nature. If stress eating is something that you're doing a lot of right now, then it's something that's always been there and comes out during heightened states of stress in your life. So what better way than to go, oh great, thank you universe, thank you God above, thank you whatever you believe in, right? Like, thank you for showing me and illuminating these things that I'm so ready to get rid of. Thank you for showing me that, like, when there's a state of overwhelm, I just kind of spin and I just sit there and I'm like all out of sorts, and then I just stop taking care of me, or I'm the first to let myself go, or my workout is the number one thing that I just stop doing when there's a point of like chaos, right? So let's look at this as an opportunity to come together to get even more support and to sit here, because I'm sitting here in such a state of gratitude, instead of being like, oh my God, this is like I'm doing this and there's so much going on and how am I going to hold space for all these people? There's so much, like, it's like, oh wow, I get to up level in such a way where I get to hold space for so many women and actually pull us all together and have us lean on one another at a time when we might want to isolate, or at a time when these women need this more than ever, because it's never about the food and it's never about the weight. It's about us getting out of isolation into connection and starting to see that we are deserving and worthy of time for ourselves. We are deserving and worthy of taking care of ourselves now more than ever. So let's use this as an opportunity to go, okay, I'm stuck indoors. Now I get to really sit here and I have more time than ever to do the extravaganza, right? That's my take. Okay, so we're going to ground in. I am going to do some housekeeping that's just going to set us off, because we are together for the next 7 days. It is so nice to be with each and every one of you. For those of you that don't know me, I am Melissa Kathryn. For those of you that are new to me, for those of you that have known me, you're going to get to hear my spiel. I do believe it's so important that you actually know who you're getting information from. So I am Melissa Kathryn. I've been doing this work for over a decade. It stemmed from my own struggles with my weight, with emotional eating, chronic dieting, body dysmorphia, you name it, I experienced it. I was never more than about like 15 pounds overweight, but it doesn't really matter, because what I found is the game is still the same. Whether you have no weight to lose, but you have a dysfunctional relationship with food and with yourself, it can be the same as 5 pounds to lose to 100 pounds to lose. I've helped women across the board with it. I've transformed myself with it. It doesn't matter. It's still the same thing. And what really happened for me was, and I'll share this with you, but first I'll go into my background. So I am a nutritionist. My view on nutrition and weight loss is holistic, meaning that we have to look at all areas of your life. It's never just about food or fitness. It's about your lifestyle. It's about your belief systems. It's about your desires for yourself, your health, how you operate, what you think. So I take all of those things into account, because again, I don't believe it's ever just about food or fitness. If it was, then we'd all just be at our ideal weight and none of us would be here right now. In this, I also specialize in disordered eating, emotional eating, chronic dieting, and really helping women to overcome self-sabotaging behaviors. I became quite obsessed with the mindset and understanding our subconscious mind. And I became even more obsessed when I realized that, wow, wait, our beliefs create our reality and we can control those. So then what the hell have I been doing all this time, making it really hard on myself? And then I really wanted to show all women how we can actually transform the way that we think to to transform the way that we eat, to transform the way that we feel, and heal internally for external results on all fronts. So I did get into the psychology of eating. I wrote an international best-selling book called Eat Right for Your Archetype that breaks down 4 different self-sabotaging archetypes that we have as women that actually help you to understand why you eat the way that you do, why you sabotage yourself, and how you relate to yourself in the world, and how we can actually shift that from a holistic standpoint. From that, I'm also a hypnotherapist and an energy worker, a breathwork practitioner, and an intuitive. I identified cancer in my own body, have healed myself of multiple illnesses, and am a huge advocate in supporting women to connect to their own bodies, trust themselves, and learn the priceless tool of being able to connect with your intuition and your inner wisdom to actually know how to get to your ideal body, how to heal yourself, and how to connect in for the path of least resistance for all that it is that you're truly deserving of in this life and beyond. So I tie all of that in. That is what I do, and I will go more into that. So that is all of my special sauce. International bestselling author and speaker and coach, been doing this for a long time, and so happy to be supporting you in this, working with hundreds of women around the world, actually thousands, but hundreds privately in my programs and working with me one-on-one. So I definitely know my stuff, and I'm really, really feel very honored to share it all with you here. That being said, we are going to dive in. This is your 7-day extravaganza. We are on day 1. What are we doing today? The dieter must go, lady loves. How to release control. I know. I'm a recovering controller and perfectionist, and I generally, that's who I have in my audience, because we are amazing, high achieving women, and this is the one area of our lives that we struggle with, and it has made us, we have given it a lot of meaning for why we are undeserving and worthy of the things that we desire most. And our weight has been what I find is one of the #1 ways that women hold themselves back from truly shining and stepping into their divine gifts and sharing those with the world. So the more that I can eradicate this belief from your systems, the more you will share your gifts and spread your light. And that's how we're going to make the world a much better place. So again, day 1, the dieter must go, how to release control for effortless weight loss that lasts. All right, so I know that there's a lot that we want to hold on to with the control, and especially those of you that love to have a plan, and it's kind of like, what are we going to do? So don't worry, we're going to dive in. This is day 1 of a 3-day Love Your Body challenge. So day 1, day 2, day 3, there is specific homework that you get emailed each day. And we're going to do our classes. These classes are going to be a little bit shorter. I'm going to dive right into the punch for everything that you need with these. Days 4 through 7 is the lose the weight portion. And this is where we're going to do more of the live Q&A, and the classes will be about 45 minutes to an hour, where I'll be diving deeper with you guys on mindset tied in with tactical, practical, along with the intuitive, mind, body, soul, spirit. All of this is going to combine the mind, body, soul, spirit. Soul and spirit I really see as one. And we're going to be combining all of that in. Everything that I do teach combines that again with practical steps that you will take each day. So the homework is going to hit you mind, body, spirit. So we're going to be bringing in intuitive guidance, clearing work, while also really doing things to master your mindset. So again, we've got to hit you from all levels for that true internal change, for the external results that you desire as well. And I will say, doing the work is not just showing up here. Okay, so I hate to use the word work, that's why it's called love work, but I'm going to say this. Each night you're getting, not homework, it's called love work, because it just sounds better, doesn't it? Because homework just feels blah. And I'm not really about that. We want it to be fun. We want it to feel good. And this is really about you getting to know you and all parts of you that you've definitely been too afraid to actually get to know. And we're going to dive into that too. So I just want to start off here saying that if you've been struggling with your weight for more than a year, you don't have a weight issue. You have a lack of a relationship with yourself, and you've been in a relationship with food. So my approach and the way that I say things, you will not hear anywhere else. That's what makes it so distinctive, and that's what makes it work. And that's what makes it impact your life in such a positive way that when you actually go through the steps in my program, it is highly transformative and will change you on all levels. That's why at the end of my programs, women are like, oh my God, I'm so happy. And this is blah, 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 and blah, blah. Oh, and I lost the weight. It's like they sign up to lose the weight. At the end of it, it's like, oh, but I'm all these things and everything in my life has changed, and the weight loss has been cool too, right? Like it adds to it, but at the end of it, they've changed so much that they're so full and whole and happy that the weight is really just like an added bonus. Right now though, for you, and I know you're not in a program of mine, so this is just our free extravaganza, but right now for you, the most important thing probably that drew you in is the desire to lose weight because you think that that is the thing that needs to happen. And I'm not discounting that. And what we do here will support you with that, hands down. But in order to have the support with the weight loss, you have to do the 3 days of this challenge and do the love work each night. Set aside time for it, guys. I cannot even tell you how much I talk to women that are like, oh, well, no, I did the program. I listened to your podcast. I do this. And I'm like, great. And do the things that I advise you to do, because that's where the change is going to come in, right? So really check in with your willingness with that. That's why we had the commitment form. Okay, I'm going to have a sip of coffee in my love mug. My mom sent this to me from, what is it? Anthropology Home. Like, don't you just want to live in Anthropology Home section? I do. She sent me like love, and then an M, obviously, Melissa. What was the other one she sent me? I don't know, but they were really cute. And they're like my favorite mugs because they're like the size of my head. Can we tell how much? And I probably drink like 50 cups of tea a day. Okay. So, in fact, I'm going to tell you a little tidbit right now. You're seeing some gross grime, but it tastes delicious. So what is in my coffee, you might want to know? I'm going to tell you right now. So I do a dash of cayenne pepper. It speeds your metabolism. It gives it a little punch. I also like spice. So it's like, I think, you know, when you're in Mexico, they give you, it's called like Mexican coffee, but it's generally, it has like cacao, cayenne pepper, and some cinnamon. And I was like, I love me all of this. And then there's cinnamon in here. So cinnamon speeds your metabolism 30 times the amount. I create a lot of words, by the way, if you're new to me. It's like a whole other vocabulary, so just try to stick with me here. So cinnamon speeds your metabolism 30 times the amount. That is right. This is true cinnamon, which actually has medicinal properties, so look up true cinnamon as well. And I just do a dash. I don't actually measure things, so this is why, like, when people get my recipe book, I actually just sit and be like, oh my God, I have to measure all these things out, because I just totally, I call it, I'm an intuitive chef. I'm just very good at mixing and matching tastes. So I should trademark that. I wonder if intuitive chef is trademarked. Okay. So I do cayenne pepper, I do cinnamon, and cinnamon actually curbs cravings as well. And then I do coffee, and it's just organic. Pete's Coffee, organic. And then I have a frother, and it's so good, and I love it. And it's like $7.99 on Amazon, and it's the best thing ever. It's like just as good as the one that comes with an espresso machine that's like $275. And I do a little bit of almond milk by Silk that doesn't have carrageen. It's carrageen free. And it's unsweetened. And then I also do a tablespoon of the almond coconut better, what is it called? Better Calf creamer. And it's so good. It's sugar-free and all the things. And it's just all natural, and it just is a delicious morning treat for me. Oh, and then I add in Vital Proteins collagen powder, plain unflavored. And that is my little kick in the morning. Okay, now we're gonna get to day one. So in case you guys wanna know what I'm drinking at any time. Also, for those of you that don't know, I should probably give you a little 1-2 on my story. Leah, I'm so happy you are here. And I'm so happy everybody is here. Hello, Sarah. I think you are new to me. All right, so a little background that you guys might not know. I am, and those of you that have worked with me here, like my in-depth background, I'm going to give the overview. So I struggled with my weight. And if any of you have seen my TED Talk, at age 10, and I truly believe that this is such a formative year for women, for girls, where we actually start to get clear on, or we start to create an identity with our bodies that's different than I'm just a girl, to really starting to go like, I like me and I don't like me. And I see it so often. And when I speak with women, it's often I will get a hit right away on that age for them. It always comes up, age 10, age 10, age 10. And I was really tapping in with why age 10. And I really got very clearly that it's so much of it is that's really when we start to see our bodies, notice it's changing, notice our girlfriends, notice that we're different. Start noticing like, oh, I've got more weight, or I have bigger boobs, or I don't have boobs, or she's getting like, you know, there's talk of periods, you're starting to get a shape. And I find it to be very much a time. So everybody just write down age 10, okay? Just write down age 10 and just think back. For me at age 10, it was the first time, it's when I wrote in my diary that I needed to lose 10 pounds. And it's like, every time I say that, I'm just like, it just breaks my heart that I thought something was wrong with me. It was the first time that I started to think that something was wrong with me, and it had to do with my body and the way that I looked. I was brought to a Weight Watchers meeting when I was 10, and this is not because my mother is some evil woman. She wanted me to learn healthy eating, and I think she probably saw that I was looking, you know, pudgier than my friends, and I just remember sitting in Weight Watchers. This is when Weight Watchers, like, you went in person, right? Like, oh my God, I'm like 100 years old. I'm like, you went in person, and we sat in this group, and I just remember I was like, why am I here? You know, and there were people in there talking about how they couldn't, you know, they were getting up in the middle of the night to eat. I will never forget that. I just thought, I don't do that. Like, what? I don't understand. And then I was like, and everybody was quite large. And I just remember thinking, oh, my mom must think I'm fat. I must be fat. I guess that's what's wrong with me. And from that moment forward, and what you'll find, and you'll see this in the exercise that we're doing tonight as well, or that you have in your homework, we're not going to go through it yet, so just stick with me here, and take on what I'm saying. We have stories and things that have happened to us in our lives, and it's the meaning that we give to them. I internalized that as something was wrong with me. I am broken. I am not enough. It has to do with my weight, right? And my mom must think I'm fat. So it didn't matter. Now, there was a lot of criticism that I got on my body, and a lot of emphasis on my weight. And you can't wear that, and you don't have the legs for this, and you don't have that. And this is not pointing the finger. Our parents are always doing the best that they can. It's neither here nor there. It was my internalized view of that experience and what I made it mean. So for me, it made it mean I hated my legs. I hated them. My brother would call me thunder thighs, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so fat, right? Like, everything went to, there was something wrong with me. It's my weight. So it didn't matter even if my mom was complimenting me or just said something like, oh, you're wearing that. I'd be like, oh, what's wrong with the, right? Like, because I was on the defensive already. I had already made it mean that there was something wrong with me. So anything I heard was through a defensive lens that something was inherently wrong with me. From that point forward, we're going to fast forward, but bottom line is, moved to New York City. I went on Weight Watchers. I know the points to everything under the sun. I then was like, okay, I'm going to learn how to diet the right way. I'm going to lose weight healthy. But my mind, the dieting mind, which is what we're going to talk about today, is a tricky little bugger. And instead of doing Weight Watchers in the normal, I started looking at gaps and ways, loopholes. Oh, well, if I eat a ton of free foods, right? So then I started eating ginormous salads and like tons of volume, but it was very calorie deficient, right? I started kind of breaking the system of Weight Watchers. Like, why would I eat something that's going to take up 8 points when I can only get 18 points in a day? At the time it was 18, right? So the dieting mind is a tricky little mind. And obviously from that, I went from losing weight in a healthy way to not being healthy, and using points as a way to control myself. And as I lost weight, I started to gain all of a sudden all these people started noticing, and I felt this powerful leg up around my weight. And I was like, oh, I've never felt this before. I've never had this around my body. I always felt insecure. And now I could feel it from my girlfriends. I could feel their jealousy. I could feel so much attention from men. I started to notice I got a lot of praise in my family around it. All of a sudden I was like, oh, and it became, my worth was significantly tied to my weight. And then I never wanted to lose that feeling. And so then it was like, what do I need to do to hold on to that? What do I need to do? And then it was okay. And then I got very into calorie restricting and what would be deemed today as orthorexia nervosa, where I really wasn't eating dinners. I was eating 500, 700 calories a day. And it became really like I was obsessed. I didn't know it at the time. I was just like, all my friends were kind of doing crazy diets too. So I was like, oh, this is just normal, right? But it wasn't. And I really saw it illuminated when I did a fitness competition. I was now at this point an ideal body coach. I'm helping women with this. I'm transforming their bodies. I'm transforming my own. I win a trophy for best body. I'm standing up at the International Natural Body Federation, winning a trophy for the Northeast Regional Best Body. Like the actual trophy says I had the best body in the Northeast. Like, what? I gained the weight back within 3 months, 6 months tops. I started from that moment gaining the weight back. Now, all of this ties into today's lesson. Why? How did that happen? What was going on for me? It was very clear to me. By the way, there's nothing that feels worse than having your body go from being a fitness model to literally tacking on the weight, and even more so in 90 days, and having my friends, my family, and people that I know look at me and be like, and you feel them judging you. And it's like the elephant in the room. And more so, I was judging myself so harshly and had turned on myself even more so. And what was even more triggering, you would think, oh, I had the body and I did this. It was a waiting game. I was sabotaging myself left and right. How many of you have lost the weight to watch yourself gain the weight back? To literally have an out-of-body experience where you're like, okay, I'm finally at my goal weight. What is happening? What is happening here, right? Like, why am I doing this? It's like you're in autopilot, like hovering over your own body as you won't stop eating. And I sat there and I was like, Jesus, Mary and Joseph, how did I get here? Like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? But I couldn't stop. I was sitting there overeating now health foods. I was binging on Quest bars. I was sick to my stomach. I was eating and I was watching myself put the weight on, and I was saying, like, what is happening? Like, I don't understand this, right? How many of you feel this and can relate to what I'm talking about, right? It's the worst feeling, because you're like, I feel like I like me, but clearly I don't. Because if I did love me and if I was connected to me, I wouldn't be doing this. Why is food winning over me? Why am I doing the one thing that I just worked my ass off to change? I say that I want the body. I say that I want to lose the weight. And now here I am. I have the body. I lost the weight. And I'm actively working against myself to gain it back, to know that I'm just going to detest myself even more. And that's when I had the wake up call. That's when I woke up in New York City in my apartment from the outside looking like I was perfect. The ideal body, and oh, I'm so happy, because that's how I was raised. Just look perfect, be happy, tell everybody, don't let anybody know that, like, oh, you're having these disturbing negative thoughts. Don't let anybody know that the girl that looks like she has it all together is actually falling apart inside, that doesn't even think that she's worthy and deserving of being healthy, right? Don't let anybody know that you have these unkind thoughts to yourself, that you literally are beating yourself down left and right, saying that you're not enough, that you're not deserving, that you're not worthy, that you can't do that, you're disgusting, that this and that, and that you're eating behind closed doors in front of everybody else. You're eating salads and your green juice and you're so happy, but behind closed doors, you are binging and looking more forward to being alone and eating than you are to actually living a life that you're projecting as being all perfect and having it all together. Because the truth is, I didn't want to know the real me, because I was afraid that if I saw her, I would unravel. If I actually took time to go inward, that I would fall apart and that I wouldn't emerge. I was afraid that if I really met me, that I wouldn't like what I saw. And not only that, I was afraid more so that the real me was an ugly version that no one wanted to know, that no one would like. Who would want that? Especially when I was taught so much that people just want to be around happy people. People want to be around positive people. In my family, you don't call when you're upset. You only call when you're happy, because calling when you're upset, well, nobody wants to talk to somebody that's sad. Nobody wants to talk to somebody that's unhappy and doesn't have it all together. People only want to talk about when you get into the self-development coaching world. I was a coach at this time. When you're a coach, you don't let people know that you're unhappy. Nobody, oh my God, and then I'm a fraud, and now I'm helping people. So just imagine what was going on, right? So now I'm sitting there, I wake up in New York City, there's like 8 Quest bar wrappers. I felt so sick, I went to bed. It wasn't just Quest bars. I was eating 100-calorie brownies. I bought 4 of those. I had planned on a binge. But it was a low-calorie binge, so I could even eat more and justify it. This is what the dieter will do. Oh, but you can have 5 100-calorie packs. That would be the equivalent of 2 servings of Oreos, right? Like, this is what we will do. And where we restrict, we will rebel. Where we would deprive, right? Diets are just distractions from what's actually underneath the hood that you're too afraid to look at. So we spend our year after year after year. I spent decades dieting. Decades of telling myself that I was doing right by my body, because no, I was just eating clean. Eating clean for me had become a front for managing my calories. How many of you have done that? Eating clean for me was, oh no, I just do, I'm gonna do my egg whites and my green juice, and I have a smoothie, and I'm not gonna do that. And I was just waiting to go home to eat all the things that I wasn't letting anybody see, right? But I would tell myself, no, I'm just so healthy. I'm just so healthy. No, I take care of me. Because it was another persona, it was another mask of perfection. How many of you know what I'm talking about, right? There is so much guilt and shame in the dieting industry, so much guilt and shame that's happening behind closed doors, and so much isolating that we're even afraid in a group like this, where I'm talking openly about this, to even share that that might be something that you've experienced or currently doing, right? We have to spread, like literally put a spotlight on this and get out of this perfectionism and this way of being that is keeping us all from being really real, because these Instagram, Facebook lives of perfection aren't helping anybody. It's just feeding the frenzy of comparison that's making you all eat excess behind closed doors when your husbands go to bed, when your kids aren't looking, sneaking food, eating when nobody's there, and then acting like you're fine when you're not. You all deserve to be happy. We all deserve to be happy. We all deserve to feel good in our bodies. Weight is just weight. And it has no meaning unless you give it meaning. It does not mean anything that you are less than or not enough because you've got a few extra pounds on, and I don't care if it's 100 or 5 pounds. What are you making it mean about you? And what are you allowing your weight to keep you from having in this life? That until you lose the weight, you can't start the business. Until you lose the weight, you can't stand up as the badass that you are and start to share yourself with the world. Until you lose the weight, you can't have love. Until you lose the weight, you won't receive the love that is already happening for you in your life. Until you lose the weight, finish the sentence. What are you making it mean about who you are, and why are you allowing it and giving it such a heavy amount of restriction in your life? Why are you allowing it to steal your joy? This is what we want to remove right here, right now, and we get to do it here today. Because I don't know about you, but I lost a good 2 decades of my life living in a less than persona of myself when I was fucking epic, when I'm an amazing woman. And all I did was create a disservice of hiding myself from helping more people, of hiding myself from being my truest self for those people that I love the most. Because I didn't want them to see excess pounds, So I wouldn't allow myself to go to the beach or let love in or wear the two-piece or do the things or dance, and like just let my freak flag fly. Because what was I so afraid of? What are we all so afraid of? We're afraid that if we actually get to know our true self, that we won't like ourselves. And the truth is, hiding from your truest self is the biggest disservice, because you're trying to be somebody that you're not instead of accepting the epic woman that you are. Weight is just weight. And you know what you're going to learn through this is it will fall off your body when you actually accept who you are. When you allow yourself to have fun, when you allow yourself to dance, when you allow yourself to have play and pleasure, when you allow yourself to receive love and have intimacy and deep connection and be vulnerable and cry and allow emotions. So I sat there and I woke up in New York City, disgusted, tears, so full from the night before that I don't think I was hungry for another 2 days. Like, I don't think I actually felt true hunger, which we're going to learn how to do here. Because many of you aren't. You're eating because you read somewhere that you should, or you're eating because you're on some freaking weird diet, or you're eating because from scarcity, or like you're sitting around, but you're not eating from hunger. You're not actually honoring the body within yourself. We're going to do that. So I sat there, and that was my breaking point. That was the day where I got down on my hands and knees and I said, I can't. I won't. I don't need another diet. What I need to do is stop dieting. The dieter in me was formed from such a deep lack of love, from such a deep lack of acceptance of myself. And she was birthed when I was 10 years old. And she's been running this show of constantly judging me and finding fault within me. And I can't, because I don't need another diet. I know all the things. I know how to transform a body. I could have 50 million, and I know this with my business before and after photos. If I sat there and taught everybody how to eat grilled chicken and broccoli and go work out 2 hours a day, and you know what? You'll all gain the weight back. And we've all been there. And it does a mind fuck. And we don't need any more of that. Excuse my language. What we need is actually to do it a different way. So if you're with me, tell me a hell yeah here in the comments below, and let's really dive in. All right? Because my story leads me to the proven formula that I teach, my MK method, that has time and time again helped women to be free from dieting, to get to the other side and show up as the epic women that they are, and to create lives and bodies that they love, truly thriving on the other side, being fully whole. I teach wholeness, which is coming back to the truth of who you are before you ever thought you were less than, whether it's due to a number on the scale, a trauma, or some limiting belief of less than. And it's time for you to become whole. So this isn't about you investing this 7 days in you being broken and needing to be here to be fixed. It's about you investing in your wholeness, in enhancing what's already perfect and just coming back to your truth. This isn't about you becoming somebody different. It's about you actually becoming who you already are. All right? So day one, the dieter, we've already talked about this. I created the methodology that I teach because, quite honestly, I couldn't find a single person that was doing it. I shared with somebody yesterday. I'm like, I tried intuitive eating. Then I was just eating all the things. I just stopped making myself wrong for it, but I was still gaining weight. And I was just like, I'm still not feeling good here, right? Like, I needed to learn another way, how to actually heal and release the weight, right? How to actually do this in a way where I could feel good as I was letting go, and it was happening in a way, right? Because it doesn't feel good to just do the internal work but not get external results, right? So we want to do this. And with the dieter, it was a peeling back process. I had to go in and I had to look at things and really understand, wow, I am not in a relationship with me. I was in a relationship with food. I was dating food. Food was my boyfriend. Food was my best friend. Food was my safety blanket. Food was my coping mechanism for life. And I couldn't lose the weight and keep it off because I didn't create the identity of a woman that actually didn't live a life based on diets, That was all I knew. Dieting had become my way of life. Dieting for me was like breathing. How many of you spend all your time calorie counting, food obsession, obsessing around your weight, obsessing about your body, spending time thinking about what you ate, thinking about what you're going to eat, thinking about what you didn't eat, thinking about what you should eat, thinking about what you ate yesterday, making yourself wrong, weighing yourself, beating yourself up for weighing yourself, should have worked out harder, didn't work out, pissed off you didn't work out, why you needed to burn more calories, should have worked out even more, didn't work out today, slept in too late, didn't, all judgments. Before we even get out of bed, we've made ourselves wrong 50 ways till Sunday, right? And that's the opposite of what we actually need, because there's only two human emotions, love and fear. And if you are living into fear, then you're living into limitation. If you're living into love, then you're living into limitlessness, which is what I believe in, which is my word for the year. We want to remove all limitation. Limitation breeds excuses. Limitation is fear, which breeds fear. Limitation is living into overwhelm, anxiety, less than thinking, right? That things aren't possible, that everything is impossible, that I'm broken, that something's wrong with me, that it must be my metabolism, it must be this, I'm not enough in some way, I could never do that, right? When we live into love, everything and anything is possible, right? So one of the very first things that we are doing, right, when we're looking at the dieter is I want you to all think about the dieter. You all like to diet. Why? Because the dieter in you is based on control. You all love diets, right? You're here. Why we need to start off with the dieter must essentially die, right? Dieter has the word die in it. Why? Because the minute you say yes to a diet, is the minute that you abandon yourself and stop trusting yourself and stop trusting your body. You stop trusting that your body, the very thing that has the life form, you come out, you breathe, that it guided you when you were hungry, when you were full, all the things, let's go play, let's go, we need to go to the bathroom, let's go heal, let's go do this. Your body has been guiding you this whole time. It's been guiding you this entire time. And yet you said yes to a diet, you stopped trusting yourself. So when we stop trusting ourselves, then we feel we are living from our mind, right? Our mind is set up for survival. Your mind is only going to keep you safe. It is not going to bring you to where you want to go. It's not going to get you to lose the weight and keep it off, because you've only taught it how to lose weight to gain it back again. So you're going to repeat the same thing over and over and over again. You're going to sabotage yourself, because once you lose the weight, your body goes, okay, time to gain it back again. And you go right back into that exact cycle of self-sabotage, which is why you have that out-of-body autopilot experience with yourself, right? Does that make sense? So as you do this, the dieter must die. We have to actually release control. We have to let go, and you have to commit right now on day one that you are not going to diet anymore, that you are done with dieting, that you are going to see another way, that you are going to choose another way for yourself, a better way. Way that is a way that is a lasting weight loss solution. Dieters seek control. You want to have a step-by-step plan for how to do everything, because you don't actually trust that you can lose the weight, and you sure as hell don't trust yourself around food, because you have a belief that if you actually stop dieting, that you will go nuts, that you will ransack a Dunkin' Donuts and eat everything in sight. The bottom line is, all of your restriction and depriving is what's leading to your binges. So instead of just binging in one day, imagine if you just allowed yourself to have a treat or have that snack that you were desiring that day, that you had so much fear that if you had it, you would go off the rails and eat everything in sight. Imagine if you allowed yourself that one day and gave yourself that thing that you were craving, and actually allowed yourself to feel satisfied, versus restricting yourself, because the mind doesn't understand the word no or not. So when you say, I'm not going to eat the cake, your mind's hearing, I'm going to eat the cake, I'm going to eat the cake. So you might not do it that day, but inevitably you will eat the cake, and you will eat the whole damn cake. And then that cake's going to lead to a pizza, and the pizza's going to lead to ice cream. And then it's going to lead to another binge or an overeating session, where then you make yourself wrong for the next 3 days and go into a whole spiral of self-sabotage until you have put the weight on, beaten yourself up enough, feel so low that then you actually go back in to commit to another diet filled with more restriction, to then experience the same thing over and over again. Are you guys with me? That is what's going to happen. So again, instead of that binge, you could have just spaced out the food and felt like a normal person and allowed yourself to regain trust within yourself. It was never the brownie that put the weight on. It was never the piece of pizza. It was never that ice cream or that bag of chips or that bag of popcorn or the crackers or the Doritos or the this or the that. It was never the one thing. It was the meaning that you gave to the brownie. And it was the brownie, I'm going to use for example, that you think is what caused the weight. But what actually happened was you restricted yourself so much that once you did allow yourself the brownie, then you did go off the rails and you had the brownie and then you had the pizza and then you had the ice cream and then you made yourself wrong. And then you woke up the next day and you repeated it. And then you said, well, our diet's already gone to hell. We might as well have this and we might as well keep eating. And now you've stuffed yourself to where you feel disgusted and either you purge or you just go to bed, but you beat yourself up for it and you make it make you wrong. So it's the meaning that you give to the brownie that actually put the weight on, because it was the one brownie that then opened up a floodgate that's perpetuated a pattern within you. So I teach balance, I teach allowance, I teach trust, I teach connection. And it's through your connection to your body that you're actually going to understand your own healing. But we can't lose the weight and keep it off if we haven't created the identity of who we really want to be, weight-free, who we really choose to be if we don't do the dieting. I have women that start my programs and start to really freak out when they free up time and stop dieting, because they start to realize that they've spent hours a day, hours upon hours, and most of their lives, 75 to 80% of it, fixated on what's wrong with them and on dieting and needing to find another diet and planning the next diet. That when they actually take and free up that time, it's uncomfortable. They don't know it because they don't know who they are without it. I know it sounds crazy, but think about it. How much of your life have you been dieting? How much of your life have you been struggling with your weight? The weight keeps coming back, not because there's something wrong with you, but because it was created from protection. It was created as a coping mechanism. You now relate to your excess weight, the excess weight on your body. I need you to think about it this way. It is a safety blanket. It has been there for you when you needed it to. It was there for you to make you feel safe. It was there for you to trust yourself. It was there for you when you didn't feel safe because of whatever has transpired for you in your life. I know for me, I didn't feel safe when I was a little girl, so I ate. That food was my comfort. And if you would have taken that from me, I would have been really afraid. Right? This is what happens. Now that unsafe feeling happens for women all the time. It can be from trauma. You're going to hear this. Please listen to my wholeness podcast tomorrow where I talk about trauma being stored in the body. But this feeling of feeling unsafe can happen at all times in different ways, in different levels. And it can just be getting unwanted attention when you were younger. It could be from trauma, and it could also just be walking out in the world or just noticing your body's changing and not feeling comfortable, or having had something occur in your life that made you feel that way. And then we turn to food, because food for many of us in our culture and society, food equated to love. And it when we're a little girl, it is something that we can get our hands on easily, whereas, maybe you couldn't get your hands on alcohol or other needs, and Facebook and all these things weren't available to us at that time. Right? So it's, instead of making ourselves wrong for our struggle with our weight, we want to start to understand, why is it that we keep going back and forth? Where does it stem from? And the homework that you received in day one is going to support you in that. So I want you to do the homework. I want you to take time to do it, and I can't wait to hear how it goes for you. And I want you to share what that is in this group, what comes up for you, what happens when you create the new identity. Who is she when she's weight-free? Because I can tell you this, she's not going to go and want to ransack a Dunkin' Donuts. A healthy fit you has healthy habits that support you in keeping and staying that way. So we want to support you in that process. Does that make sense? All of the homework is to support you in cementing in this new way of being. All right. Now, what I want you to make sure to do is stay tuned, because tomorrow, day 2, we are doing Up Your Frequency and Flow, how to love and trust your body. So today we're working on releasing the dieter. I want you to really, really create this new identity. Who are you without dieting? Who are you at your ideal weight? Who are you? Because what I found was I could not cement in. When I won that trophy, the reason she didn't stick around was because I didn't believe that I was deserving and worthy of that body. I hadn't created a fit identity. I had not created an identity of that new woman. I had my journey to getting that body was just another form of a diet. But I had not cemented in that that was me now. And I had not given myself the gift of getting to know who would I be if I didn't struggle with my weight? Who would I be without my safety blanket? I had to learn other coping mechanisms in life without food. And that is the deep work that needs to happen. Does that make sense? So I can't wait to hear from you guys. I can't wait to hear what comes about, because the homework, girls, I went deep, man. I was like, how can I give them really, really good stuff that's going to transform them from doing this? So please take the time and share here. Share with one another. Use this as an opportunity for support and to go in deep and really do the exercises. And I can't wait to hear how they go for you. Tomorrow we'll be doing day 2. I will see you in here at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And I can't wait to be with you then. So much love, so much gratitude for you, and truly feel honored to support you in this process. All right, lady loves, I will be with you then. Thanks so much for being here. And I just want to say again, all of the homework is emailed to you. So if you have not gotten the homework, you have to email support@melissakathryn.com. None of the homework is being placed in this Facebook group. You must have signed up and registered for this event to get the homework. Go to the link in the events section, and we will post it again below. But again, you cannot and will not receive the homework unless you are signed up. An email needed to be put in and registration. So I will put the link again below, but you must be signed up, and the homework was sent to your email. Again, please, if you did not get the email, check your spam, check your junk folder before emailing support, and you must add my email to your address book in order to receive it each day. Especially if you have Gmail, a lot of emails for Gmail will go directly to your junk and spam. This is what we have emailed this out to you guys in particular. So please make sure to do that. And if you did not receive it, email support@melissakathryn.com and it will be sent back to you. But I guarantee it's in your junk and spam. A lot of our emails do go there, and I can't do anything. It just depends on your email provider. All right, guys. So much love to you. Bye.